In this video, I'm going to reveal why alpha, beta, sigma male categories are keeping you trapped in performance mode and show you the one approach to masculinity that actually works. Here's something no one talks about in the alpha v beta debate. You've probably spent more energy trying to figure out which masculine archetype you fit into than you have actually being yourself. You're second guessing every decision, every conversation, every response, wondering if it makes you look weak or dominant enough. And it's exhausting. By the end of the video, you'll understand why chasing labels is missing the point. You'll know the difference between performing masculinity and living it authentically. And most importantly, you'll have the permission to stop trying to fit into boxes that were never designed for real men living real lives. This could free you from years of masculine performance anxiety. At 51, I've literally spent decades wrestling with these questions, and I've probably displayed traits from every category you can name. Sometimes I'm the guy taking charge of a situation. Other times I'm the one listening and supporting. Sometimes I need to step back and figure things out on my own. But here's what took me years to understand. Chasing these labels is missing the point entirely. When I was younger, even in my 30s, I thought masculinity meant picking a lane and staying in it. If I wasn't the loudest voice in the room, I was failing. If I showed vulnerability or asked for help, that somehow made me less of a man. If I chose cooperation over confrontation, I was being weak. And that's exhausting, isn't it? Constantly measuring yourself against some arbitrary standard that changes depending on who's doing the talking. I've watched my friends, guys in their 30s and 40s, still tying themselves up in knots over this stuff, still wondering if they're alpha enough for that promotion, or if being considerate to their wife makes them beta. It's like we're all walking around in costumes that don't quite fit. Here's what I've learned through marriage, divorce, raising kids I no longer see, working, and yes, making plenty of mistakes along the way. Life doesn't care about your archetype. Your boss needs you to solve problems, not perform dominance. Your partner needs you to be present and honest, not mysterious. Your children need you to be steady and real, not some cartoon version of masculinity. In my experience, the men I respect most, the ones who seem genuinely content with who they are, they're not following some playbook. They show up as themselves, whatever that looks like in the moment. You know what's making the biggest difference in my life? Learning to be honest about what I'm actually feeling and thinking instead of what I think I should be feeling and thinking. And that means admitting when I'm overwhelmed instead of pretending I've got everything under control. It means saying I don't know when I don't know, rather than bluffing my way through. It means supporting my friends when they're going through tough times without worrying if it makes me look soft. It means being willing to lead when leadership is needed, and being willing to follow when someone else has better judgment. It means standing up for what matters to me, even when it's uncomfortable, and admitting when I'm wrong, even when it's embarrassing. None of that fits neatly into alpha, beta, sigma categories. It's just being a decent human being who happens to be a man. I wish I could go back and tell my younger self, you don't have to perform masculinity. You just have to live it honestly. And that looks different for everyone. Maybe for you it's being the steady, reliable guy who helps keep the team together. Maybe it's being the forward thinker who pushes everyone to think bigger. Maybe it's the one who asks the hard questions, or the one who makes sure nobody gets left behind. The point isn't which role you play, it's whether you're playing it authentically, because it genuinely serves the situation, not because you're trying to prove something to someone. If you're listening to this and you felt confused or frustrated by all the masculinity content out there, I get it. If you've ever felt like you're not man enough because you don't fit perfectly into one of the boxes, let me say this clearly. The problem isn't you. The problem is with the boxes. You're not broken because you're thoughtful sometimes and assertive other times. You're not failing because you care about other people's feelings while also standing up for yourself. You're not weak because you choose your battles instead of fighting on every hill. You're just a complete human being trying to figure it out as you go. And guess what? It's the same as the rest of us. So instead of asking, am I alpha enough? Or does this make me look beta? Try asking, am I being honest here? Am I responding to what's actually happening? Or am I just trying to fit an image? Now that's not always easy to answer. It requires paying attention to yourself, which takes practice. But it's a hell of a lot more useful than trying to memorize some random internet guru's rules for masculine behavior. Look, I've been seeing a therapist for a few months now, and amongst other things, I'm trying to learn to recognize when I'm performing versus when I'm being genuine. I recently called off a wedding because I realised I was slipping back into old patterns of being who I thought she wanted instead of who I actually was. That's how deep this stuff goes. I'm not here to tell you how to be a man. You already are one. I'm not here to give you a new set of rules to follow. We've got enough of those bloody things already. I'm here because I think a lot of good men are wasting time and energy worrying about the wrong things. Time and energy that could be spent on actually living their lives, building genuine relationships and making a difference where they are. The work isn't about becoming more alpha or sigma or whatever. The work is about becoming more you, the authentic, unfiltered, sometimes messy, but always human version of yourself. So forget the labels. Focus on being genuine. Trust that who you really are is enough, because it is. Stop asking which category you belong to, and start asking whether you're showing up honestly in your relationships, your work, your life. That's the only archetype that matters, the authentic one. What do you think? Have you felt the pressure of these categories? Have you caught yourself performing masculinity instead of just being yourself? I'd genuinely love to hear about your experience in the comments. And if this resonated with you, share it with someone who might need to hear it too. There are too many decent, good men out there tying themselves up over labels that just don't matter. Thanks for listening. Let's keep the discussion real.